All right, let's talk about the Python series that doesn't waste your time. 13 weeks, one clear destination. A real shipped command line tool, not another notebook full of toy examples. We're skipping the 6-hour syntax tour you can grab from any reference doc and instead baking in the senior habits early. Testing, type hints, packaging. So by the capstone, you're not just writing Python, you're shipping it. So who is this actually for? 3 crowds. Devs coming from JavaScript, Java, Go, or CIs who already ship code and just want Python's idioms, know what is a variable detours. CS grads and career switchers with the theory down, ready for a real portfolio piece. And scripters whose duct-taped automations work, but who want to do it right this time. The middle 70%, that's the target. Here's how the 12 lessons are organized. 5 tags, each one building on the last. Foundations gets you running real code in 3 lessons. Daily covers the 80-20 of Python you'll use in every script. Advanced is where idiomatic moves separate scripts from engineering. Professional bakes in testing, types, and tooling, the habits real teams ship with. And Grad is your capstone, a real CLI tool you can put on your resume. Let's zoom into foundations. 3 lessons to take you from zero to running code. Lesson 1 is the honest pitch, where Python fits, and just as importantly, where it doesn't, so you can make a real decision. Lesson 2 gets your environment matching what working teams actually use. Python, pip, venv, and a proper editor. Lesson 3 puts your hands on the keyboard. RePL, variables, your first py file. By the end of this block, the ground floor is done. From there, we hit the daily driver block, the 80-20 of Python that every script you'll ever write at work leans on. Lesson 4 is control flow, where comprehensions versus loops trip up even experienced devs. Lesson 5 is functions, and this is where JS and Java folks stumble. Mutable defaults, late binding, args spread. Lesson 6 is data structures. List, dict, tuple, set, and knowing which one fits. Nail these 3 and you can ship real Python. Now we step up. Lesson 7 is error handling, and the senior move here is knowing when not to catch. Most beginners wrap everything in try except. We'll teach the judgment call. Lesson 8 is files and JSON with pathlib over os.path and context managers so you stop leaking resources. Lesson 9 is the big one, modules, packages, venv, init.py. The difference between a script you wrote and a project you can actually share. And now we cross into professional territory. Lesson 10 is PyTest, fixtures, mocking, coverage, and just as importantly, knowing what's not worth testing. Most tutorials skip this entirely, which is exactly why so much Python code out there is fragile. Lesson 11, layers in type hints, MyPy, rough, black, and pre-commit hooks. The 30-minute setup that separates a hobbyist script from a codebase your team can actually work in. And then everything converges in Lesson 12, the capstone. You pick a real CLI tool you'd actually use, a file renamer, a log analyzer, a markdown link checker, whatever scratches your itch. Then you ship it. Argparse, pathlib, packaged as a module, PyTest tests, type hints, the works. Public GitHub repo, honest README, 3-minute demo. That's your portfolio piece. Real shape. Tested, typed, shipped. So zoom out for a second and ask, why bother with this series at all? Most Python content swings between 2 extremes, 6 hours of variable assignments or hype reels that never ship anything. Here, you're running real code by Lesson 3. PyTest shows up at Lesson 10, MyPy and rough at 11. Tests, types, and tooling aren't a bonus chapter. They're the spine. That's the difference. Now, how you actually consume this matters. If you're working full-time, go weekly. 1 lesson, 1 hour of practice, 13 weeks, and the habit sticks. If your weekdays are buried, batch it. 2 or 3 lessons each weekend over a month and a half. And if you already know Python and just want the lay of the land, binge all 13 in a weekend, then spend 2 weeks on the capstone. Pick the lane that survives contact with your calendar. Whichever lane you pick, here's what you walk away with. 5 concrete outcomes, not vague familiarity, a working Python environment. Idiomatic code that actually looks like Python, not translated Java. A real project structure that scales past a single file. Production habits, PyTest, MyPy, Rough, Black, baked in from day one, and a shipped CLI tool living in a public GitHub repo, installable, usable, linkable on your resume. That's the senior bar. So that's the map. 13 weeks, 1 shipped CLI tool, and a path that meets you wherever you are. Foundations, Daily, Advanced, Professional, or Grad. Next up is Lesson 01, Why Python? The use cases, what Python is genuinely bad at, and the honest pitch, no hype. When you're ready, open Lesson 1 and let's get to work.